Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce this year's commencement speaker, comedian and Emmy-award winning writer for the Ellen DeGeneres Show, Adam Yenser. At Penn State Lehigh Valley, we encourage personal and professional excellence, intellectual growth, cultural awareness, ethical decision-making, and civic responsibility. Adam exemplifies the qualities that we admire and support, and I'm sure that in this speech he'll have some great advice for the graduates. Adam is special for many reasons, but mainly because he is our first commencement speaker who was once a student at the Lehigh Valley campus. Adam is a proud Penn State alumnus. He attended the Lehigh Valley campus before finishing his college education at University Park. He graduated from Penn State in 2005, where he majored in film and video production and philosophy. During his time at Penn State, Adam interned for Late Night with Conan O'Brien, which marked his entrance into the television industry. In addition to the Ellen DeGeneres Show, he has written for the Oscars and has been a freelance contributor to the Weekend Update skit on Saturday Night Live. Adam began performing stand-up comedy at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in New York City. He has toured the country, appeared on Conan, and was named Best New Political Comedian in 2015 at Politicon in Los Angeles. Adam can frequently be seen on the Ellen DeGeneres Show as a correspondent and in the recurring hidden camera segment, Kevin the Cashier, played by Adam. We thank him for being here today and for supporting our Penn State students. And now, Adam Yenser.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. The only thing they left off my resume is I used to work at Yakko's also. I can tell that I'm back in Pennsylvania when I walk into a college graduation and the sign on the door says sponsored by Yingling. The truth is I'm about 10 years older than all of you. I tell jokes for a living and I still live with a roommate, and they brought me here to give you all life advice. So I want to start by welcoming all of the faculty, parents, relatives, and friends who are here today. And of course, welcome to the Penn State Lehigh Valley class of 2017. I want to give a special shout out to Professor Kyle and her class. She told me that every day before class, they watch one of my Kevin the Cashier sketches to put them in a good mood before their public speaking class. So like all of you, I arrogantly watched videos of myself backstage before I came out here today. Commencement is a momentous occasion in any person's life. It demands a level of dignity and decorum. So it's fitting that we're gathered here today in this beautiful venue, which later on tonight, according to their website, will host the Bethlehem Air Sex World Championships. You can still get tickets at the box office, but it might be too late to sign up. As Dr. Goff mentioned, I attended this school in 2001. After graduating, I got a job with Conan O'Brien, and 6 years ago I started working for Ellen DeGeneres. And then I had to grow this beard so they could tell us apart around the office. As I mentioned, they do use me in these skits on Ellen sometimes, but I've only ever been recognized in public once, and it really let me know where I fall on the fame scale. I was out at the bar, and this girl comes up to me, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, I've seen you on Ellen, right? Can I get a picture with you?" So I said, "Sure," and she handed me her phone. And I tried to get a selfie of us, but nothing happened. And I said, "Oh, it says your memory is full. You'll have to delete a picture to make room." And she takes her phone and she goes, nah. It's the kind of star power you're dealing with here today. But as an alumnus, it is truly an honor to be here. I attended Penn State Lehigh Valley back when it was located in Fogasville before it became one of the promenade shops. But now on your first job interview, when they ask you where you went to school, you can tell them it was that prestigious university next to Yankee Candle Company and Fuzzy Inks Manufacturing. Penn State has always been an important part of my life. My grandparents loved Penn State. 3 of my aunts went to Penn State. My brothers went to Penn State. My best friend growing up went to Penn State. And my mom, who's here today, retired in December after 25 years with Penn State Lehigh Valley. Give her a round of applause. Like my mom, I hope you all continue to love this university, but really live it up and enjoy life after you leave. I chose to enroll here for the same reason as many of you. I wanted a good I wanted a good education from a small school where I could get to know my professors one-on-one, and because my GPA wasn't good enough to start at University of College. But it still challenged me. I remember when I started, my advisor, who had always heard my mom brag about how smart I was growing up, put me in an advanced chemistry class that was way too hard, and I almost failed. Every day I thought, I'm not going to need to know about covalent bonds to tell Applebee's jokes on Conan. As exciting as today is, you may be feeling anxiety or fear too, but I read an inspirational quote in a Facebook meme that will help you out. It's by Marilyn Monroe. She said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." I get all of my quotes from Facebook memes. And Marilyn Monroe said that. I believe it's part of her I Have a Dream speech. Leaving college life is both exciting and intimidating, but you should all feel optimistic that you're entering a rebounding economy and a promising job market that will let you be anything you want to be, from an Uber driver to a Lyft driver to a driver for rideshare apps that haven't even been invented yet. And if you don't have a job lined up already, don't worry. 2/3 of college students don't have a plan for employment after they graduate. So look to the person to the right of you, and now look to the person to the left of you. Statistically, only the person in the middle has no idea what they're doing right now. And you should all take heart in the fact that I was able to start a career with a film degree, a philosophy degree, and a minor in art history. Whatever you've studied for the past 4 years, I'm sure it was more useful than any of that. I hope my words today will impact your life in a positive way, but I'm cautious about lecturing you too much, because some lessons are best learned on your own. And because last year's commencement speaker, Bill Phillips from Men's Health magazine, was fired a week after commencement. I don't want to give you too many tips in case I have to apply to the same job as you next month. You're all entering a very exciting time in your life. If what I've read about millennials on the internet is true, over the next few years you'll move back in with your parents, marry someone your iPhone finds compatible, transition to a new gender, then protest in the streets until you elect a socialist president who forgives your student debt and pays you $15 an hour just for existing. Regardless of whether that's the path you follow or not, here's what I can tell you. Don't worry if things don't work out exactly the way you want them to right away. And don't be afraid to pursue unusual or unexpected opportunities. I wanted to be a comedy writer, but it didn't happen right away. The first job I got in the entertainment industry was as an intern for the Maury Povich Show. And all day, all summer, I had to take phone calls from women who wanted to prove one of these 8 men is their baby's dad. And usually it wasn't any of those 8 men. I always wondered how that could happen. I've never met anyone who's hooked up with that many people in such a short period of time. I'm kidding, I transferred to University Park and met lots of people like that. But I will always be grateful that I got to put that Maury Povich internship on my resume because it helped me land my internship at Conan. And because every day for the whole summer I got to watch moms fight with out-of-control teens who were determined to get pregnant. My advice to you is be like those out-of-control teens. They refuse to give up on their dream. They won't let anyone tell them no. If someone tells you you can't do something, call them a hoe and tell them to shut the hell up. And if everyone starts booing you, give them the finger and boldly declare, whatever, if you don't know me, I do what I want. Curious what the sign language is for some reason. You're actually watching on that one. But understand that your dreams will take hard work, and even if your dreams are glamorous, the pursuit might not be. When I got hired full-time at Conan O'Brien, I was still living in Macungie. I took the Beaver bus to New York City every day, 2 hours morning and night. I'd wake up at 5 a.m. and get home at 11 p.m. I got so used to sleeping on the bus that sometimes I'd wake up in New Jersey and forget whether I was going to work or coming home. Doesn't that sound horrible? Waking up in New Jersey? Of course, now that I live in Los Angeles, I don't have to worry about the Beaver bus anymore. Our Beaver is a little punk who drives a Ferrari while high on cough syrup. And this is true. During those first 6 months that I worked for Conan, I still worked for Yakko's Hot Dogs in Emmaus. I do it on weekends, and when people around here heard that I was working for Yakko's and Conan O'Brien, they'd always be really impressed. They'd be like, no way, you work for Yakos? That's so cool, they're famous. Eventually I moved into a 4th floor walk-up apartment in Brooklyn with 4 roommates and 1 bathroom. My bedroom was 7 feet by 10 feet, and it cost my entire salary. There was very little that was glamorous about my life at that point, but I loved it. I had some of the greatest experiences of my life during that time. I met some of my closest friends during that time. So as you pursue your dreams, don't forget to live in the moment. You can find a lot of satisfaction in life even before you achieve your goals. And remember that anywhere you go, you can find Penn State alumni to help you out. For instance, while I was the intern coordinator at Conan, I made sure to hire a disproportionate number of Penn State interns. Some of you might think, isn't that illegal, like nepotism or something? But to that I say, I don't know, whatever, I don't work there anymore. And while I hope you figure out a plan to get where you want to go, don't be afraid to alter that plan and take detours. I never thought that I would wind up in Los Angeles. But I decided to go since Conan got the job at The Tonight Show, and I knew I'd have a secure position with NBC for the rest of my life. But still, I love New York City, and I didn't expect to like Los Angeles. I had always heard that LA was full of rich, superficial people who think they're better than everyone else. But now that I've lived there for 8 years, I'm rich, and I realize we're better than everyone else. Hashtag blessed. I remember when I left for Los Angeles, my mom got me a Penn State blanket from the campus bookstore here, and I used that blanket to keep warm when I was sleeping in the car when I was driving across the country. And then when I got out to Los Angeles, I would take that blanket with me whenever I went to the beach. Then one night I came home from work, and there was a homeless man sleeping on the sidewalk outside of my apartment. So I decided to give him that Penn State blanket, and it felt good to do the right thing. The next morning I immediately regretted it. Because I realized there's no worse advertisement for this university than the sight of a homeless man sleeping next to a dumpster under a Penn State blanket. Someone's going to see that and be like, well, we better send the kids to Michigan. But you should always, I don't know, you should always help do nice things for other people. There's a lesson in there somewhere, you figure it out. No, you should always try to help other people whenever you can. In the words of Marilyn Monroe, do unto others as you would have them do. But don't put off helping other people until after you've achieved your goals. Do it along the way. And don't wait to pursue your other passions until after you've achieved your goals. Do it along the way. If you want to learn a new skill, if you want to travel, don't put it off. Start tomorrow. And don't be afraid to take risks. Stability and progress can both be desirable, but they're often in conflict. Gambling on a new endeavor can ruin the stability you built for yourself, while the comfort and safety of stability can keep you from moving forward. Leaving Conan was scary for me. I worked there for 6 years. It was my favorite show on television. The staff felt like family. We moved across the country together, went through the drama of losing the show on TBS or on NBC and moving to TBS. But I was an assistant and I wanted to be a writer. So when I heard about the opportunity at the Ellen DeGeneres Show, I took it. And it paid off, but it was hard. I had to learn to write in a new voice with a steep learning curve. There were weeks when I couldn't come up with a single idea, and I was worried I'd be fired, like Bill Phillips of Men's Health magazine. But the other writers at Ellen supported me, and I developed as a writer and as a comedian. And eventually the gamble I took leaving Conan paid off and came full circle, and I was invited back on the show as a comic guest. And someday, if I dress slutty enough and get enough random women pregnant, I'll be invited back as a guest on Maury Cover's. But don't be worried at the speed at which you achieve success, as long as you're moving in the right direction. Some of you will start your careers tomorrow. Some of you will go back to working a fast food job like I did. Some of you will focus on building a family first. Everyone is moving at a different pace. No one has everything figured out. And no one's life is as good as the Marilyn Monroe quotes they post on Facebook make it out to be. I'll be honest, while I'm honored to be here, this was difficult for me. Part of me doubts that I'm the right person to do this. Usually speakers at these events are older than me, further along in their careers. They have more years of experience to look back on. Your student marshal has more experience. How old is that guy? My career is still very much a work in progress. I have success and failures, I have highs and lows, I get frustrated and depressed, and I still make mistakes. But the mistakes aren't the times that I try at something and fail. The mistakes are the times that I don't take a risk in the first place, and the times I hesitate to stand up for what I believe in, and the times I resort to making hacky United Airlines jokes instead of writing better material. Seriously, it's time to stop the United Airlines jokes. But please remember this, when you fail at something, you'll experience short-term disappointment. But when you don't try, when you don't take a risk in the first place, or when you compromise your values, you'll experience long-term regret. Always strive to make your choices and actions match your values. Never adjust your values to accommodate your choices and actions. And don't ever make this decision based purely on money. Money isn't evil, it can do a lot of good, and we all need to pursue financial stability. But other than relieving the stress of financial burdens, money doesn't improve your life personally, emotionally, or spiritually. Put your happiness and values above the pursuit of money. You'll feel better about yourself, and it will give you freedom because others won't be able to control you through the enticement of financial loss or gain. And understand that in the exciting times ahead, there will be trying times too. Often the more unique and difficult your goals and the more rigorous the standards you set for yourself, the lonelier and more frustrating the journey can be. Which is why I recommend you hold on to your faith. Pray and read scripture. It can get you through difficult times. I know religion is on the decline in this country, but I hear stories all the time that reaffirm my faith in God. Like I recently read a story about a bus driver in Minnesota who got mugged, and they shot him, but his life was saved because the bullets were stopped by a Bible in his pocket. That is a miracle. That God blessed that man with ridiculous Bible-sized pockets. Also, as I'm sure you're all aware, you're graduating college at a particularly bizarre political and cultural moment in this country, and it's very divisive. It's gotten to the point where those who claim the loudest to be loving, tolerant, and open-minded are themselves intolerant and hateful at times. I would encourage you all, wherever your allegiances lie, don't give in to that toxicity. Without getting too political, I'll say this. Having grown up here in Pennsylvania, I'm more conservative than most of Hollywood. But I have friends and coworkers who are some of the most annoyingly liberal people I've ever met, and I'm one of the most annoyingly conservative people they've ever met. And we still get along. Not just in the cliched sense of tolerance, but in the sense that we love each other and work together and respect each other and want the best for each other, even though we disagree. You will be better off, and you'll make the world around you better if you don't shut out, silence, punish, block, unfriend, or refuse to work with people you disagree with. As a comedian and writer, one of the most important issues to me is freedom of speech. But in many places today, from the entertainment industry to academia, that freedom is under attack. Whether it's people trying to intimidate and restrict the media, or people trying to shut down and silence speakers with whom they disagree, I urge you to take a stand against that attitude. Don't treat people you disagree with like they're passengers on a United Airlines flight. As Marilyn Monroe once said, I may not agree with what you have to say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. You should be able to argue with someone and still grab a drink with them afterwards. We're Penn State alumni, we drink after everything else. And life is more fulfilling and interesting if you seek out people with different perspectives and with whom you disagree. Seek out situations that challenge you and make you uncomfortable and force you to confront the unfamiliar. If you find yourself in a so-called safe space, you're not working hard enough, you're not challenging yourself, and you're not challenging anyone else. The easiest thing you can do in life is surround yourself only with people who share your point of view, but it's boring, so don't do it. And know that you can learn lessons even from dark times. As I mentioned, this university has always been a part of my family, and this university went through a dark time. My brother spoke at the candlelight vigil for victims of child abuse at University Park. We should never let our pride and passion lead us to believe that we are infallible or to distract us from problems that demand attention. Negative emotions like shame and disappointment are hard to deal with, but they can lead to positive outcomes if they humble you and drive you to atone for your mistakes and correct them in the future. Have the confidence to stick to your values. Have the confidence to defend your values. But don't let your confidence lead you to hate those who disagree, and don't give in to the arrogant belief that you or the institutions you support are infallible. One of the most important lessons I ever learned was actually way back in first grade. My teacher, Mrs. Chen, gave us a math problem to solve. It was probably 3 + 5 or something, but it seemed super difficult at the time. And she asked the whole class who could tell me what you got. We went around the classroom, and one person after the other gave the same answer. Finally, she said, everyone who got that answer, raise your hand, and everyone raised their hand. Then she said, did anyone get a different answer? And I raised my hand. She said, everyone else got a different answer. Do you want to try it again? So I sat there quietly as the whole class stared at me, worked through it again, and got the same result as before. She asked the whole class, does anyone think Adam got the right answer? The entire class shook their heads no. So she said, well, everyone who thinks Adam is wrong, stand up. Now sit down. Now, Adam, you stand up. Do you want to change your answer? and I stood in the middle of the class, terrified. She was standing there staring me right in the face. I nervously shook my head no. She said, "Good," and sent me to the board and told me to show them the right answer. She tried to intimidate me into changing my correct answer in order to teach me a lesson. And that lesson always stuck with me because it was emotionally traumatic for a kid. And because it was the last time I was the best person in the class at that. This goes for your personal life, your spiritual life, and your professional life. When you know you're right, don't ever let anyone intimidate you into doubting it. And the last piece of advice I want to give you is this. You will never be able to answer the question, what exactly is a Nittany Lion? In a way that satisfies the person asking you, so don't try. It's the one time in life when you shouldn't try. I'll try to wrap this up because I know you're excited to get your diplomas, and we have to clear out so they can set up for the Air Sex World Championship. I think the only thing we're leaving here is that thing. None of my inspirational stuff got applause, but I want to thank you for having me here, and I want to once again offer my sincere congratulations to the Dartmouth class of 2000. I plagiarized most of this from other commencement speeches on YouTube. Let me try that again. I do want to offer my sincere congratulations to the Penn State Lehigh Valley class of 2017.